If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, it's the opening line of Rudyard Kipling's poem If. Good advice. Practically impossible advice, but good advice anyway. Even people who've never read the poem in their life somehow know this line. It was also voted the nation's favourite poem by British people in 1990, which is quite an achievement for something written in 1910 by a man with a moustache. Today we're looking at the whole thing properly. We're going to do a complete reading of the poem, and then, line by line, we're going to look at the vocabulary and the imagery and why this poem has refused to go away for over 100 years. And stick around, because there's also a C2 level dictation at the end, one of the more difficult ones that we've done. So go and grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, get a pen and paper, and hit subscribe, because there's a new episode every Thursday. Let's do it. Welcome to A Cup of Tea with John, which is just symbolic now. I should just call it a teacup with John, because there's no tea in it. But anyway, that's what it's called. It's my weekly dictation, where I attempt to introduce an interesting topic to you, often related to British culture or British history or British life, and teach you a little bit of vocabulary and give you an opportunity to practice your listening, your writing, your spelling, and to learn some new words in context. So today we're talking about a very famous English poem, certainly one of my favorites. It's not on the same level as Milton or Shakespeare, but it's certainly accessible poetry. This is what I would say. This is a good way to put it. It's accessible to the masses. The language is not particularly complex, but the message is, I think, timeless, as with all good literature. Now, if you've ever been to Wimbledon to see the tennis, has anybody ever been to Wimbledon to see the tennis? Or certainly, I'm sure you have seen, when the players walk out, you will see here above on the ceiling these lines. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. And these are lines from the poem which we're going to look at today. So that's how, let's say, popular it is in British culture. Two of the most famous lines are there in Wimbledon. If you've been to British schools, you may have seen it on the classroom walls. My mum used to have a tea towel in the kitchen with this poem hanging on the wall. So for me, I remember it as a child. And it was written in 1895, published in about 1910, something like that. And Rudyard Kipling is the name of the author. Now, what else did Rudyard Kipling write? Come on, you guys, you know. The Jungle Book, exactly. So he wrote The Jungle Book with Mowgli, and it was made into a Disney film. Oh, those bare necessities, those simple bare necessities. Yeah, although the bear sang it better than me. But yeah, that was written by Rudyard Kipling, not the song, but the novel. And the poem was written as advice from a father to his son, how to be a good, strong, dignified person. And it has become an iconic guide to British values, to resilience, to staying calm under pressure, to humility, very important in the UK, not showing off when you win, but also not falling apart when you lose. Very, very British. So today, as this is one of my favourite poems, and as this is one of the nation's favourite poems, we're going to go through this verse by verse. I'm going to read each verse and we'll look at the difficult vocabulary together. And then, as always, we'll finish with our live dictation, which today is C2 level. Okay, so it's a challenge, 100 words about why this poem matters so much to British people. So, are you ready, guys? So to start, I thought I found a copy of this poem, which I can read to you, but I think it's better read by a professional. And firstly, I found this, and I listened to it, and it was read by an American. So obviously we can't listen to that. So I'll be getting rid of that. And then I found another version read by famous British actor Michael Caine. And so this is better. This is more like what we want. So I thought to start off, we can listen to the poem read by Michael Caine. It's not too long. It'll last about 2 minutes. And then we're going to look at the words later.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Okay, so that is the poem, quite short. I'm going to go through the whole poem with you. Probably some quite old-fashioned words in there as well, but we're going to look at that, so it will be a lot clearer to you. And then when you listen to it yourselves a little later, then you'll have a much clearer idea of what all the vocabulary means. So if you're ready, we can get started. And we're going to look, first of all, obviously, at verse number 1. Now, what I've done is I've prepared, okay, so you can see that hopefully. So what I've done in each case, I've prepared a slide with the verse, but also with a glossary, so that it's a bit clearer what certain expressions mean, okay? And I'll go through it, and then rather than explaining all of these, you have them there, and you can do your own cross-referencing, okay? So if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. Okay, so this is the first verse. And the whole poem is structured as one really long conditional sentence. If you can do this, if you can do that, if you can do all these things, then yours is the earth, you'll be a complete person. The longest conditional sentence in the world, I think. There's a lot of vocabulary here, which I don't think it's necessary to go through all of it, but keep your head means to stay calm, to remain rational when everybody else is losing control. Okay? To stay level-headed, as we say in English. This expression, to make allowance for, just means that you tolerate something. Okay, we should make allowance for his inexperience. So we should tolerate it. Don't deal in lies is just an old-fashioned way of saying don't lie. Okay, don't trade in lies. If people lie about you, then don't respond with another lie. Okay, you stay honest is effectively what he's saying. To give way to, so don't give way to hating, meaning to allow yourself to be controlled by something. Okay, so don't surrender to hating. When it says don't look too good, it means to remain morally superior. So don't act like you're better than other people. But also, don't talk too wise, which should be wisely, but obviously it fits a little bit better with the scanning of the lyrics. Okay, next one, verse 2. And again, here the vocabulary I've got at the bottom here, but one specifically which might be a bit difficult is knaves with a silent K, which is an old-fashioned word meaning dishonest people. Okay, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat these two impostors just the same. Yeah, the most famous line of the poem, probably. In other words, if you win, you keep your head. You're stoic. If you lose, you keep your head. So you meet with triumph and disaster and treat these two imposters, these two fakes, these deceivers, both the same. They're both illusions. Don't get too excited when you succeed. Don't get devastated when you fail. Now you can see why this is a perfect line for Wimbledon. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop, meaning to bend down, to stoop, to bend down, to stoop and build them up with worn out tools. In other words, with an exhausted body and mind. So everything you've built has been broken, but you can rebuild it. Your exhausted, tired self will just keep going even when you're shattered. Powerful stuff, eh? So this verse really is about not being controlled by extremes. Don't let dreams or thoughts dominate you. Don't let success or failure define you. And keep rebuilding, even when you're exhausting. So what do you think so far, guys? Any comments on the poem? Anything which resonates? Yeah, we had, as I say, we had this written on the kitchen wall as a child. My brother, a couple of years ago, said he still remembers this poem and he's lived every line, which I thought was a wonderful way of expressing it. Okay, let's move on to verse 3. Verse 3 is about risk and resilience. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, a big pile of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss. Pitch and toss is an old gambling game where you would bet everything in one throw. So basically, to risk everything is what it means. If you can risk everything and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. Don't mention it. Don't complain about it. Don't say anything at all. Okay, risk everything, lose it all, start over from scratch. Don't complain. Don't talk about your loss. Just get on with it. Very stoic and very British. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew, in other words, your muscles, your tendons, metaphorically, he's talking about your physical strength, to serve your turn long after they are gone. In other words, to do what you need them to do. And so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will, which says to them, hold on. The will, there's a capital W here, interestingly enough, is kind of personifying the inner determination of a person, the mental strength, the part of you which refuses to give up. So the line says, when your heart, your courage, your physical strength are completely gone, keep going. And the final verse, this is where the poem delivers its conclusion, a beautiful conclusion. I sound like Donald Trump. This is where the poem, I can't do a Donald Trump impression, arrives at its conclusion, a beautiful conclusion, probably the most beautiful conclusion ever written. I wrote this conclusion. Oh yeah. Anyway, whatever. So, if you can talk if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, foes are enemies. So if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, soldiers and guards would traditionally say, "Who goes there, friend or foe?" If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. In other words, don't be a snob. Stay grounded, however high you rise. And if you can do all of this, then yours is the entire world and you'll be a man. If you can do all of these things, the world is yours. But more importantly, which is more, you'll be a complete human being. Now, yes, okay, it is a little bit, it seems a bit sort of male orientated, but remember it was by a man written to his son. It could equally apply to women, but the poem is as it is. So the whole poem is building to this moment. All of those conditionals, all of those ifs, if you can manage all of them, then you'll be the ideal version of yourself. It's aspirational. Not many people can live up to this, but it's something to aim for. Certainly one of my favourite poems. And we're going to finish off now with a dictation. So 100 words. There will be some challenging vocabulary in this, but don't worry, it's good to have a challenge, as we've just discovered from this poem. Don't get upset if you can't do it. Just remember the lines of the poem. Okay, are you ready, guys? Have you got your pens and paper ready? Let's do it. Kipling's if dash remains profoundly cherished. Kipling's if dash remains profoundly cherished amongst the British, partly because amongst the British, partly because it articulates virtues that resonate deeply it articulates virtues that resonate deeply with national identity. With national identity. Colon. Stoicism, resilience, and quiet dignity. Stoicism, resilience, and quiet dignity. Full stop. The poem counsels equanimity. The poem counsels equanimity. In the face of both victory and defeat. In the face of both victory and defeat. Comma. Urging readers to neither boast nor despair. Urging readers to neither boast nor despair. Full stop. New paragraph. Its advocacy of humility, its advocacy of humility, comma, integrity, comma, and perseverance, integrity, comma, and perseverance through adversity, speaks to a cultural ideal, speaks to a cultural ideal of understated strength. Of understated strength. Full stop. Moreover, comma, its conditional structure, moreover, comma, its conditional structure dash an accumulation of ifs. An accumulation of ifs dash creates an aspirational rather than prescriptive tone. Creates an aspirational rather than prescriptive tone. Full stop. It acknowledges human imperfection. It acknowledges human imperfection. Whilst offering a moral compass. Whilst offering a moral compass. Full stop. Okay, on the last line. This timeless quality ensures if this timeless quality ensures if dash continues to inspire successive generations, continues to inspire successive generations seeking guidance seeking guidance on navigating life's inevitable trials, on navigating life's inevitable trials with grace and fortitude, full stop. With grace and fortitude, full stop. Okay. That's the end of the dictation. Yep, a bit more challenging this week. But as I always say, I like to vary a little bit. B2, C1, C2, to give everybody an opportunity to be challenged. Yeah, I'm going to read the whole dictation again so that if you have missed any words, you can fill them in this time round, okay? And then I'm going to show you the text. Kipling's if remains profoundly cherished amongst the British, partly because it articulates virtues that resonate deeply with national identity, stoicism, resilience, and quiet dignity. The poem counsels equanimity in the face of both victory and defeat, urging readers to neither boast nor despair. Its advocacy of humility, integrity, and perseverance through adversity speaks to a cultural ideal of understated strength. Moreover, its conditional structure dash an accumulation of ifs dash creates an aspirational rather than prescriptive tone. It acknowledges human imperfection whilst offering a moral compass. This timeless quality ensures if continues to inspire successive generations seeking guidance on navigating life's inevitable trials with grace and fortitude. Okay. So, how was your experience? I'm going to show you the text in a minute. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. So you can check what you wrote. Dictation. Kipling's if remains profoundly cherished. Cherished meaning loved. So it remains profoundly cherished amongst the British, partly because it articulates, it speaks about virtues that resonate deeply with national identity, stoicism, resilience, and quiet dignity. The poem counsels or advises. This is an old-fashioned way to say to advise. Okay, notice it's counsel, C-O-U-N-S-E-L, not C-O-U-N-C-I-L, which would be the local authorities. Okay, careful, because the two are homophones, but they are different completely in meaning. The poem counsels equanimity in the face of both victory and defeat, urging readers to neither boast nor despair. To boast means to show off about yourself, to talk too well about yourself. It's advocacy of, careful with the spelling here, advocacy, there's no S. It's advocacy of humility, integrity, and perseverance. There's another one to be careful of. You might be different in your language. Perseverance through adversity speaks to a cultural ideal of understated strength. Okay, come on, hands up. Who spelt strength? Strength. Come on, be honest. I know that, yeah, I know there's always a few. I know my people. I know my people. When you've been in this game as long as I have, you know when the mistakes are coming. Oh, okay. So, just be careful because if you think about it, if it finishes with the sound th, strength, then it's th. Okay. If it finishes with the sound of t, then it's ht. So, for example, weight. Okay, what's your weight? Okay, that's not doesn't it's not what's your waif. What's your weight? Your height. Okay, that finishes with a t sound. So it's not th, it's ht. It should be clear. Okay. Moreover, its conditional structure and accumulation of ifs creates an aspirational rather than prescriptive tone. It acknowledges human imperfection whilst offering a moral compass. This timeless quality ensures if continues to inspire successive generations seeking guidance on navigating life's inevitable trials with grace and fortitude. So that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Well done to everybody. We've gone through one of my favourite poems, one of the nation's favourite poems, Rudyard Kipling's If. We've explored the vocabulary, we've discussed what it means, and you've completed a challenging C2 level dictation. How about that? Guys, thank you very much. Take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye.